Because, well, anyway.
Anyway, let's get into economic. Of course, football is also economic some way somehow. So, but
Yes,
anyway, let's
because
get into it.
literally there's economics in there.
Yeah,
Our money is going to be used,
absolutely. Mm,
and there is such a thing called value for money.
mm.
I am not too sure if we are going to get that. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Let me
Yeah.
not jump the gun.
Exactly. Let's see how everything goes. All right. Anyway, Ima, so we're talking this morning about our exports. I mean, good news coming that we recorded 47.2 billion Ghana City straight surplus in quarter four of 2025, which is, I mean, sharply up from 17.5 billion Ghana cities that we recorded in quarter three. So that's like a sudden jump. But how significant is this jump for the economy?
Well, thank you, Mr. Thank you very much. Good morning to all our service listeners. I think that I uh, I forgot to do that. And I think that when we have discussions about exports, no matter how it looks, I'm sure you know my position already. Uh, because I feel we can do better. And I just pray my biases does not affect how I'm going to respond to the questions. Anyway, but I mean, I agree with you that the gains are there. That is quite impressive. Um, and I mean, we are all particularly happy about it as well. And so that kudos to everyone. So let's just get straight to the main point. But I'm sure you can see how I'm struggling to really comment on it. Yes, of course, it's significant if your export is growing from 17.5 billion in the third quarter to 47.2 billion in the fourth quarter. That is significant. That is a sharp movement in our external balance within a single quarter. I'm talking about 3 months. I mean, when you look at it in nominal terms, it suggests that the country earns far more from exports than it spends on imports, because this is trade surplus. Trade surplus is your difference between your exports and your imports. You have a surplus if your export is greater than your imports. And the reverse is true to the extent that you make a deficit if your import is greater than your export. Import is what you are bringing into the country, the monetary value of that. Export is what you are sending out of the country, the monetary value of same. So it's like selling and buying in ordinary parlance. So what we bought from every other person apart from our own selves is what we call import, and we pay for that in dollars. And export is what we sold to the rest of the world, our trade with the rest of the world in terms of sales. And that also we get some foreign exchange, which is dollars as well. So that is an indication that we earn far more from our exports than we spend on our imports, which is generally positive for foreign exchange reserves and our currency as well, because as I've said earlier, it brings in some foreign exchange to us, and such a large surplus can help reduce the pressure on the city by increasing the supply of foreign currency. Because if your exports are growing relative to your imports, then it means that your net position is positive, and as such, the demand for the city is really high. I mean, in some sense, you can explain that way. Because if the demand for the dollar is high, we would see that through increased imports. Because literally, for you to import, you need United States dollars to import. And that will mean your taste for that currency is going to go up relative to the Ghanaian cedi. And that puts a downward pressure on the Ghanaian cedi, subsequently forcing it to depreciate. And so that is how it plays out. And necessarily the reverse is true, which is what I'm alluding to this morning. So it strengthens the Ghanaian cedi. Not only that, it also strengthens our external position, which is closely watched by investors. It is watched by credit rating agencies as well, and development partners. So in that sense, the numbers signal short-term performance occurs within a short period of time. It is often driven by temporary factors rather than structural improvement, and I'll explain that. So it makes it very difficult to look beyond the headline figure, and not just difficult, but very important to do so as well. So the point is that, literally, what have we changed about our structural, architecture for us to be able to see such a huge jump in our export earnings? Usually the answer is blanket no. We've not changed anything. But what has happened? It is what is happening in the external environment around the last quarter of last year that is causing this. What do I mean? You remember very well that gold prices were going up. And so our exports of gold will necessarily bring in more foreign currency into the country. So it is not because we started processing gold, refining gold. It is not because we started refining cocoa into final products. So what I mean is, it's not because we've diversified our raw commodities and exporting them and we are earning more from that. That is why there was that huge jump. It is not because of that. It is because the external environment, the prices on the external market were favorable towards us that we are earning that. I can't wait to see what the results will be for first quarter of 2026. You know why I'm saying that? Because something happened, which is, let me summarize it and say the Strait of Hormuz. The war between Iran and Israel, and of course the United States, which caused oil prices to go up and subsequently affecting us. I can't wait to see what that result will be. And so you will see the impact of structure in terms of revenue and, of course, our as it were, trade balance. So if the external environment is favorable in terms of the commodity prices, we feel that through a surplus. If it is unfavorable, then we are hit by a deficit. And so for us, we don't really celebrate trade surplus as much because that is not all there is. Sometimes we are very interested in the balance of payments as well. So these are our current account balance and the rest of them. These are all important factors. But of course, on hindsight, I don't think we should, as it were, push this down. But I just think that important questions arise and we must ask them. One of which is what is contributing to this. And it is not because we've improved any structure. It is not because we've moved towards diversification. It is merely because the external environment within the last quarter of last year was very favorable, and our commodities were giving us much more revenue than it did in the previous period. And that is why we are seeing that. So while the surplus is impressive, it should be interpreted as a strong short-term boost rather than a guaranteed long-term trend. That is to say that don't be surprised if you don't see such numbers in the first quarter of 2026 and beyond. It is like your fortunes are hinged on the direction of the wind.
I see. So to what extent is this performance? I mean, from what you're saying, looks like it is not really about the economic strength and all of the things that we have done, really. But I want to know, break that down a bit further. To what extent is it a sign, of real economic strength versus just a reflection of maybe the high global commodity prices that we were seeing last year?
Thank you, Edmund. I think that's a very important question. And for me, a closer look at the data suggests that much of the export growth is price-driven rather than volume-driven. And I was just talking about that a few minutes ago. You see, the report clearly indicates that export values rose largely due to increases in unit prices, particularly for gold, rather than a significant expansion in production or export volumes. So at the same volume, of gold or cocoa or whatever, if the price increases, you are going to earn more. This is the point I'm making. If we sell 10 gallons of oil every quarter, let's take ourselves as an entity, right? There are two ways in which we can be affected if our sale volume remains the same. It is either the price goes up or comes down. Whenever the price goes up, we are going to earn more. Because when we multiply the increased price by our number of gallons, that tells us our revenue. And once the price has increased, the difference between the old and the new becomes the additional gain we make. Similarly, and of course, on the other hand, when the price falls, the difference between the reduced price and the old price becomes our loss. So we are going to earn less. And that is really what has happened. So the data is really telling us that it is because gold prices went up, because the volume did not necessarily change significantly. No, it is because of the adjustment, an upward adjustment in the price. That is why we have seen what we saw. Rather than a significant expansion in the production volume, the effect was driven largely by price. And that distinction is very critical. When growth is driven by prices, the situation is such that it depends heavily on global market conditions, which Ghana does not have control over. We don't control global market conditions. We do not have any control whatsoever over that. Commodity prices can quickly reverse. They can rise quickly, they can reverse quickly. See, they do what they want to do. They take a random walk. But they can also fall as sharp as they rise. And that is very important. They are very, very asymmetric. They can increase very sharply, and I'm telling you, they can even fall far away than they increase. And that reverses the gains that they have been made. But when you contrast the gains you make because of price changes to volume growth or volume-driven growth, where you are producing more and more, and that is why you are making more from your exports, you see, that is some good news. It reflects stronger domestic capacity, and that is more sustainable. Unfortunately, that does not appear to be the main driver here. And let me even add on to that. If your growth is being driven because of some diversification efforts, that is also broad-based. That is also long-term. That is also sustainable. That is also within your control. That is something you can control. But if your growth is merely as a result of an upward adjustment or an increase in the prices of the raw commodities, then that is something outside of your control. So if you are lucky, the price is up, so you earn more. If you are not lucky, the price is down, so you suffer for it. So the current performance reflects favorable external conditions rather than deep structural strength, and that makes it somewhat fragile, which is a situation or a condition we don't want to find ourselves in. Oh, I see the I didn't see now Koko na okanona wakani na wenya more customers. And our customers now one na that's all. Customers now one na that's all. And yes, in say Koko numa boni. I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to make. So with this year, I've made a lot of profit. Did you make profit because you had new customers as a result of an increase in the quality of the porridge you sell? Or merely because you increase the cost of the porridge? It is because I increase the cost of the porridge. And I'm using an example to the extent that you can increase the cost. But in terms of the cocoa, the gold, and the rest of them, you don't even have control over the increase in the price. It is exogenous. You don't determine that. And the price can also come down at any given time. That is the reality we find ourselves. So we don't have that structural strength and capacity. No, we don't. And until we begin to have or harness that potential and grow that very well, we would really fall at the mercy of global commodity prices and the way they move to determine our export revenues, which is not too good for us. That is where we should aim.
I see. Right. So it means that there are lots of things we have to do. I mean, if we're relying on global commodity prices, then it is quite shaky. But anyway, gold alone accounted for 66.9% of exports. Does this level of dependence pose a long-term risk to our trade stability in any way?
Yes, it poses significant risk. This is what I'll call concentration risk. You see, it's 66.9, so we can say 67% or about 70%. Now, such a high level of dependence on a single commodity poses a significant risk. You see, when nearly 2/3 of export revenue, because 70% is 2/3 is about so to tell it's about 67%, right? So yes, that works. When 2/3 of your export revenue comes from gold, Ghana becomes highly exposed to fluctuations in global gold prices. If prices fall, export earnings could decline sharply, even if production remains stable. And that will directly affect the trade balance. It will affect the foreign exchange inflows. And trust me, it is going to affect the overall economic stability. It also limits the country's ability to build resilience against external shocks. So you cannot overly concentrate on gold alone. That is like saying that our economic stability, the strength of our cedi, our foreign exchange inflows and our trade balance are the whims and caprices of how gold performs on the international market. Should it be the case? Should gold be the dominant commodity that dictates the direction and the strength of this economy? I don't think that is sustainable. And we know how heavy reliance on gold. I mean, it tells you that when you rely heavily on gold, it can crowd out investment in other sectors like manufacturing, like agriculture and services. You know how sometimes the GDP numbers come out and you will see that a chunk of the gains we are making is coming from the extractives. And sometimes the real issue is that we begin to ask a major question. How many of the Ghanaian people are employed in this sector? So that the point is, yes, GDP is increasing, the economy is growing, and what they call economic growth is happening. But how many Ghanaian people are benefiting from this growth or contribute to this growth? You realize that usually growth is in the hands of a few persons. Just a few. So the economy is growing, but I'm telling you, some people are not growing. Their pockets are not growing. They cannot feel the growth. And that is why they'll say that you people, you are just saying that Ghana's economy is growing by 4.9%, but you know what? My salary has not changed. You know what? I'm not gaining anything. I am still unemployed. I still don't have enough money. You see, I still cannot buy 3 spread meal and on and on and on. It is because the growth is concentrated within just a small segment of the country. It's not broad-based. And you see struggles in the agriculture sector. You see struggle in manufacturing sector. You see struggle in services sector. Sometimes even our growth is driven by ICT, information, communication technology, digitization, and the rest of them. Then the question is, how many Ghanaian people are benefiting from that? That question must always be answered. Because until growth translates to meet the life or the living standards of the average Ghanaian, of the last person on the street, what we have is a concentrated growth in the hands of a few people. So while gold is currently, a strength for us, it is also a major vulnerability that needs to be managed carefully, especially through diversification. Growth cannot be the reason why Ghana has been growing on and on. We've said this and time again. Many of us read about Gordon Gottisberg years ago while we're in JHS and the rest of them. And the Gottisberg model, the Gottisberg economy that was passed down to us pre-independence is still the model we run today, post-independence. 69 years of independence. We still run the Gottisberg economy. We are still a country that produces, a country that extracts its raw materials. And when we do that, we don't spend any time, we don't spend any resources to refine and transform it. All we do is to carry it and export it outside of Ghana and, in fact, outside of the continent of Africa, elsewhere. That was the blueprint Gordon Gottisberg left. That man is dead and gone. I am not saying ideas cannot outlive a man, but even his home country does not do that. Why are we doing that? Why? Why are we doing that? If that is how we trade and that is all we will do, yes, we'll be celebrating a trade surplus. But that trade surplus We will not put anything on our tables at home. Nothing to account for nothing. And that is why we continue. See, this should be trade surplus here. We get it often. We get it often. But on the other hand, you will see ballooning there. Yes, we are making a lot of money from exports. At the same time, we are borrowing so much. And we become debt burdened, debt distressed. We cannot even deal with that situation. And the average Ghanaian person does not feel the numbers in their real life. So yes, there are positive numbers out there. It's all over the screen. Inflation is falling. This is that, and all of that. We keep talking about the numbers. But the quality of life of the people has not seen any transformation, perhaps in more than a decade. And that is a big problem. It's a big question that we must answer. We cannot continue with the export of raw materials just to make some revenue and celebrate a trade surplus. Trade surplus is not enough. And this morning, I demand more than a trade surplus from the handlers of the economy, from the government. We need more than that. Government should begin to look at the quality of life, developmental issues, not just growth, not just a percentage that we celebrate on paper, but has no bearing on our lives whatsoever.
I see the passion with which you're speaking this morning. But of course, we'll look at some of the solutions, specifically how we can be able to achieve some of these things very soon. But there are quite other interesting things in the report. Now, the report also shows that in real terms, Ghana actually recorded a trade deficit. What does this tell us about the true health of the export sector?
Well, thank you very much, Nick Levy. I think you want me to throw the passion so that, but it's sometimes a problem. You see, the fact that we recorded a real trade deficit despite a nominal surplus, I think we need to add some flesh to that so that it becomes clear. I think it's one of the most important insights from the report. It shows that once price effects are removed, when you want to move from nominal to real, it's the effect of price. Sometimes we talk about how if you earn the same income and inflation is going up, your real wage may not match up the current economic conditions. So that's why it's not healthy that the income of an employee remains the same, albeit prices are increasing. And once prices are increasing, inflation reduces your purchasing power in simple terms. Your ability to pay, your ability to buy something is significantly curtailed and reduced. You would not be able to do that because there has been a surge in price. So once you take out the effect of price, you realize that the real trade balance is in a deficit. So that is what really we mean by that. There was a real trade deficit. It is when we take out the effect of prices. It shows that once price effects are removed, the country is actually importing more than it is exporting in real terms. So the apparent strength, in the trade balance is not due to increased production or competitiveness or some diversification or structural improvement. Not at all. It is rather higher prices for existing exports that is causing that. In other words, I'm merely saying that Ghana is earning more per unit, not necessarily exporting more.
Right.
We are not doing anything unique to deserve a Nobel Prize. And I'm not going to celebrate that this morning. And that is why it looks like it was a surplus in the beginning, but you realize my tone has not really been one of a congratulatory or a celebratory one. Not at all. And I think that distinction is very, very important. It highlights underlying structural weaknesses with this Ghanaian economy. And the structure is all I'm talking about. That name still exists in the textbooks. Our young brothers and sisters, our children are still reading them in school. We read them. Some of us really didn't understand. We grew up before we were understanding what Godisberg was really putting across. In fact, they were teaching it in social studies, and all of that. That is a real problem. Our structural architecture as a country in terms of the way we run this economy is not one that has served us well. How many years? How old are we? human being, Ghana would have retired and would have gone on pension. And trust me, when we look at its tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 contributions, it will not be something that it can live on. It may even kill the country. If Ghana was a human being, Ghana would have been in retirement. We have worked for all the active years of our life. What have we really done for ourselves? The question worth reflecting on. Domestic production has not expanded enough to sustainably drive export growth in this country. So the real trade deficit is a warning sign. It reminds policymakers, it is a reminder to the government that the current surplus, as we see it, may not reflect genuine economic transformation. Sometimes it's good to take a deep dive into the numbers and really see what is driving it, what is accounting for it. We are not doing anything unique. It's one of those situations. The times where you wrote an exam, really, and you were not expecting any good thing out of it, and the results coming, you have an A. Sometimes you are so shocked that you believe the lecturer did something about the exam score. You really know that the A you are seeing is not as a result of what you wrote. Because what you wrote could only give you something like a C or a B. It's the situation we have. We know we are really not doing anything, unique to gain or to see the performance we are seeing. It is just the same system running. And I am calling for a radical shift in the way we do things as a country. A radical shift.
I see. All right. Imam, our time is up, and so we would have to continue the conversation tomorrow, God willing. Now, but just before I let you go, Asia absorbed about 53% of our exports, and UAE and India are the leading countries. What are the implications of such heavy geographic concentration, really?
These countries are major buyers of gold and other raw materials, and that makes them natural trading partners. So I can understand the demographic, the dominance of Asia, particularly through the United Arab Emirates, India, and the rest of them. I think that it's also a sign that we are well integrated into global commodity markets. But, it is another thing, it's just like what I said earlier about gold. It's also a concentration risk. Why do I say that? Literally, if demand from these markets slows down, perhaps due to economic downturns in the origin country, maybe policy changes, they say, we will not really return again, we prefer Cote d'Ivoire because, as it were, I don't know what reason they'll give. Or there is a shift in global trade, then our export earnings could be significantly affected. That is why usually we think about diversification in two ways. What do you do to the raw material, and also who your final exports end up with. If you only export to the United States, and they have one kind of a president who decides to just throw some tariffs and other things at you, then you get into serious trouble. Imagine you only sell your beans to one customer. If that customer dies, you don't have a market. That is the point I'm making. If you only sell to one particular group or segment of people, if they change their taste, you are in trouble. That is the point I'm making. So you need diversification at that level as well. You make sure that you are serving different segments of the market so that you are not concentrated with one. So if you have more than 50% of your export just in Asia, how many continents do we have in the world? I think I've forgotten my social studies. I think it's 8 or so. I don't really remember. More than half is going to one continent. For me, the deeper issue I see here is not because I want our export to just be in the Americas. I want it to be in Europe and on and on. I know we export to all those places. But where my heart cracks a bit is the point that we are not exporting enough within Africa. And today we are talking about Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We are talking about Africa trading amongst itself. And this data is not just Ghana. Go to Nigeria, go to Kenya, go to DR Congo, and the rest of them. Everyone is exporting to other parts of the world. You see, when we look at the African continent, trust me, we are well connected to the West and the rest of the world than we are connected to ourselves. And that is one of our major problems as a continent that we must deal with. And once we are well concentrated in Asia, it limits our bargaining power. When a few markets dominate your exports, you have diversifying your export destination certainly is the way to reduce that vulnerability. So while strong ties with Asia are beneficial to Ghana, over-reliance creates exposure to external shocks and specific or market-specific risk, which we need to take out by improving our export destinations, increasing the number of export destinations for that matter.
All right, Ima, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, we can continue the conversation tomorrow. We'll look at some of the things that the report says, and then we can look at some specific strategies we can use to adopt or diversify, because I mean, that's one of the things that you've spoken about extensively, and I see the passion with which you speak. So tomorrow we'll look at the specifics, try to give some real approaches or ways we can actually turn things around in this country when it comes to diversification and exports generally.
I guess you just finance morning.
Say again?
Yeah. I guess tomorrow you just want me to be the finance minister for the morning.
Oh no, but you advise government, and then we can take it from there. But I'm really grateful that you made time. Very interesting submissions as well. Really grateful.
Yeah.
All right. Please do enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay. All right. Well, so that was Emmanuel Boateng, in-house economic analyst, and he joined us this morning. We've been talking about exports, external trade performance, really. We've seen that we've recorded some very massive figures there compared to what we had seen in previous years, in previous times, But Emmanuel says that it is largely due to the high global commodity prices that we are seeing, and not really because we are doing anything extraordinary. If we want to really see exports, good export performance, then we must change certain things in this country. We must move towards diversification and all of that. And these are some of the things that we said. But if you missed any parts of the conversation, feel free to visit our social media platforms. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and also on TikTok and YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please visit those platforms. Drop a comment, and I'll read them for you. But when you visit, you can go and play back the market trends segment. And yes, so that will be all for our market trends. We're going to wrap up this morning with our roundtable discussion. We have a very important conversation coming up, and like I said, we're talking about soft skills today and how that can make you indispensable. If you know anybody who's an employer or an employee, reach out to them and get them to tune into this conversation, because it's very, very important, and will help them become better in their field of work. And so that will be what we'll be getting into shortly. But we'll take a quick music break, and when we return, my guests will join me. I have a career coach and an HR expert who will be joining me for this conversation. So please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay right here on the Business Breakfast on Z 101.9 FM with me, Ni Trebi Hammond. Enjoy this one by Amrado, and we'll be right back.
Oh yo yo yo,
it's Joe made it.
me did I see me penny pa. The Cassans why you see me did. Kwalekwa nansi, some madam pa me come home see. My brother me make a crime did it France. The minimum when I'm a dancer glass. Life is a wild carnival. Mama me many be why I can wash. Ekitamina when you be to me pass it. I cherish every woman, me my spirit day free. Life is a wild carnival. Mama many be why I can wash. And pim time, pim dummy. Get up to a mess, sorry. Nabusi ya didi ya me what dummy. Any mere won't papu anu ke and come. And pim time, pim dummy. Get up to a mess, sorry. Nabusi ya didi ya me what dummy. Any mere won't papu anu ke and come. Nyanya me penny se me na mame 964. Man kwa busi ya better come. I do this for my family and myself. Drip this say be kum kum. Nyanya me penny se me na mame 964. Man kwa busi ya better come. I do this for my family and myself. Drip this say be kum kum. What yogi? I'm a soldier, one man soldier. Instruction suroja. I'm a soldier, one man soldier, instruction suroja, and pim time, pim dummy. The top of you, I'm a sorry. I will say I did the what dummy. Any mere one papa who can come, and pim time, pim dummy. The top of you, I'm a sorry. I will say I did the what dummy. Any mere one papa who can come. But no, I'm a soldier. One man soldier, instruction suroja. What no I'm a soldier. One man soldier, instruction suroja. Yedi I see me penipa. The Cassans why I see me did. Kwekwa nansi, some madam pa ne kame hunsi. Yedi I see me penipa. The Cassans why I see me did. Kwekwa nansi. Madam Pane, Bobby Dinsa. My brother, I make a granny to be frantic. The minimum when I'm a dancing glass. Life is a wild carnival. Mama, many be why I can wash. A kitamina, we need them to me pass it. I can reach every woman with my spirit day free. Life is a wild carnival. Mama, many be why I can wash. And pim time, pim down. The top of you, I'm a sorry. I will see a DD, I'm in one dummy. Any mere one papa one can come. Pim time, pim dummy. Get up from you, I'm a sorry. I will see a DD, I'm in one dummy. Any mere one papa one who can come.
It's Joe made it.
My dance, yeah, me sit daddy for half for my life, cooking up a militante. Timmy Nimi who are daddy. Rise to me penu yet, to me pound up and tell me God to send something my mind racing. Some bridges are burnt to boys P. One of them see and see a girl. That we forwarding back in never. Now I murder your hearts in the shoes in the gun. No smoking the ups in my say me liver. So I pray for you guys, peace and that's glory. Yes, I go. Baba, upon my day as a boku farmer. I cannot front in the amesre, that no one who may say what doing so brave me dama. I say ladder, who knows who you see father. Start the climb as years ago, next year that's a free, but no so I took a form mother. Now me see I am in crabby, I'm a super mini. And so my trust no I put in Elohim. Come to them cry, me cook so try, McDonald's say this why we be singing all that. I didn't drama my farm, I see. Go see the pay for the family. No see I know about my bone, yeah, but nobody knows. See I know I try to get out. Say for person, yeah, me I about the money, no. Say I'm a mess, mama, titi, about the money, no. Yeah, the giant bro, and bro, come me cremo. I also want to me credo. If I try move forward, Bashana still sign. But so come soon, man, so I refuse. As I'm with the fruit sign. As soon as I me a PSA with a part to show me two bones, I make a no lie. Me cremo. Only be a damn fool, mama. Say for person, yeah, me age about the money, yo. I say I'm a mess, mama, titi, about the money, no. Yeah. Only be a damn fool, mama. Say for person, yeah, me age about the money, no.
Welcome to Zed Multimedia Online. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials on TikTok at Zed Multimedia, LinkedIn at Zed Multimedia, YouTube, Zed TV, IDX, and Facebook at ZFMGH. Do enjoy this video.
I mean, everybody's graduating from the university with the same degrees, social sciences, and what have you. But very different outcomes. Some rise quickly, some earn trust, and they are able to lead. Others remain stuck despite working just as hard. And so, what is the difference? Increasingly, the answer lies in soft skills, and we're going to break down what exactly that means shortly. But this morning, we're diving into that conversation, and our topic is how soft skills can make employees indispensable. My guests are already seated. I have in studio Lydia Kwesing. She's a career coach, and Mary Ikia Ahima Dazi. She's an HR professional. These are the two individuals I'm sitting with this morning. Ladies, you're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Thank you.
All right, great. Lydia, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you
again.
too.
I think the last time we spoke, have we spoken this year?
Yeah, this year I think
in
January
January.
or February.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
And Mary, I think Mary, you haven't been to the studio before.
No.
We've been doing phone calls, Zoom calls. Okay, we're glad to have you today.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we're talking about soft skills, and let's start from here. And I'm going to start with you, Mary. So when we talk about soft skills, what are they?
Okay. Yeah, Nee, thank you very much for the question, and a very good morning to our audience as well. So when we talk about soft skills are your learned abilities, the things that will help you to do your work. Because yes, you've gone to school, you have your degree, those are your hard skills, right? After that or beyond that, what are some of the things that you need to help you do your work? And those are the soft skills that we will talk about. Now, some of the soft skills can be communication.
Okay.
After your degree or beyond your degree, communication, how do you interact with people, right? And those are things that you need to learn.
Right.
You need to learn how to communicate with people. When we talk about emotional intelligence, sometimes those things are handled in the classroom. But beyond that, what are you learning for yourself to help you achieve your goals or to help you in your work? So those are some of the things that we classify as soft skills.
Right, soft skills. So communication is one of them.
Yeah.
You mentioned another one.
Emotional
intelligence. These are two that you've mentioned. Okay, let me bring in Lydia as well. Lydia, so maybe if there's anything you want to add to that, and if you have some more examples of soft skills we can mention.
All right. Good morning to you all, our audience. Yes, so when we talk about soft skills, these are non-technical skills, okay? What she classified as not hard. That's why it's classified soft. Yeah, but soft skills are your interpersonal skills, and they are behavioral competences.
Right.
So it can be your attitude. It can be how you interact with people.
Okay. It
can be how you solve problems. And these soft skills show how you do your work.
Okay.
It shows how you do your work. And so the technical skills is like what you have. So we may all have the same thing. But the soft skills is how individual A actually executes his or her work, whilst individual B does it the other way. And these soft skills are very important. Why? Because of the growing automations, because of remote work, because of the changing demands of clients, stakeholders, because of, individual, how we are, our personality trait. And so it is very important that we actually look at these soft skills, which are what? Very interpersonal and behavioral.
Right.
Yes. So in summary, I want to say that soft skills, they are something that you can learn, right? Okay. It's something that you can learn. But in this world and age, the technical skills is like the entry ticket to any job.
Right.
But the soft skills are what help you thrive and stay in the job.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So from what you're saying, I can see that the difference is that, two people can have the same degrees, but like you said, how they approach the work that they do is what sets them apart. and that's just what soft skills are.
Yeah.
Right. And you're saying is something people can learn.
You can learn. The reason is because these are not personality traits. People are not born with soft skills. People may be good with certain things due to training, how they were trained, their exposure and all that. So you can also learn. And that is why when you go to some industries, let's say in a service domain industry, they run annual or monthly customer service training and all this just to help individuals adapt to the growing demands and the changing demands of clients, customers, and their companies. Yes.
I see. Now, but for so long, I think the emphasis has been on the technical skills. If you're applying for a job today, I don't know whether, you are an HR, and so maybe, I don't know whether on the interview panel you ask how people communicate or you observe that alone. But usually, what is your degree in? What's your background? That's a question they ask and all of that. Why do you think that we've paid so much attention to technical skills and we've not giving a lot of attention to soft skills? Lydia.
Okay. Yes. So if I want to, stay put on this, COVID actually helped the system, the ecosystem. Why am I saying this? People want to trust you for what they entrust into your hands.
Right.
And so when I don't have to see you, it means that we have to work on trust. And these things are soft skills. Right. So, yes, for some years back, let's say 10 years ago, the technical skills were actually the ones that we usually talk about. But when you check job descriptions of late, you will see that we have academic qualifications and we have competences like other competences such as maybe effective communication, how to, leadership, emotional intelligence, adaptability, problem solving, critical thinking, reasoning, because yes, we know that if you are going to use the technical skills alone for the recruitment and the shortlisting process, everybody qualifies because we all have the same. You can get individuals boot for boot having the same. But when you get in there, it is how you communicate, how you are able to reason, and how you are able to solve problems, how you are able to manage pressure. These are the things that we actually observe, and these are the things that are very essential because no matter what, you are going to work with people. No matter what, we need you to be able to think on your feet, analyze situations, and execute your duty. And the certificates are good, but when you get there, it is what you can do with what you have acquired, which is technical, that matters. So yes, it is something that it is changing. We see that most of the time, but we observe and also we ask questions and the way you are able to answer. So during interviews, we ask you certain questions, maybe situational, we call them situational questions where we put you to a situation and we want to know how you think, how you are able to answer these questions. Yes.
All right. And I see you nodding. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, just like Lydia was saying, so over the years, the technical skills is what people pay attention to. Now, currently, what we do is the competencies that she mentioned. It is not only your technical, because now the competencies are three. Your technical competencies, your personality, and then your managerial. So if we are just going to base on your certificate or your technical competencies, it means that there is a gap. Now, if you as the employee, if you want to, or, as a job seeker, if you want to be chosen or preferred above all the other candidates, the soft skills is where you'd, be chosen. Because without that, you cannot do your work.
Right.
So normally, the soft skills, so there's, I don't want to go into very deep, but there will be a sheet where if you have the technical, is marked. If you don't have the soft skills, it's, so you lose that mark for it. So at the end of the day, if we are conducting interviews, you are losing a mark. If it's 10 marks, 15 marks, but when somebody has that, the person's mark is going to be higher than yours.
Right.
And then it means that, of course, you are failing for the interview and that person is going to be chosen over you. So without the soft skills, you cannot, do your work. Yeah.
Right.
It works hand in
you
hand.
You get the opportunity. Well, so that is before you are entering the job. Now, when you are in the job, because that's the focus of our conversation this morning, how you can be indispensable. Why do we see people with similar degrees, but one person is rising faster in the job than another person?
Right. So it is normally because of the soft skills. Now, let's assume myself and Lydia are in the same organization. And you are our boss, right? It's a scenario that I'm giving.
Okay.
So you are our boss. You give us a particular task. And sometimes leaders or managers, they observe. So you give us work, you observe how I do it, how I'm interacting with people, how I'm delivering the work. All of these things adds up to if I would move higher. For example, if there is a managerial role and myself and Lydia, maybe one person manages people, has effective communication, speak to people well and all of that. If there is a managerial opportunity, of course, is the one that is managing people well, relating with people well in the organization, can really interact with people. That is the person we would give the managerial role to, because at the end of the day, you are going to deal with humans, you are going to deal with your colleagues, you are going to deal with, so it's up and down, bottom.
Right.
So you're going to deal with people, and you cannot say that you want to attain a managerial role without having those things. Of course, we will choose the one who we have observed, over time that can do it than, somebody that cannot. So that is why somebody may rise. So if you want to rise in an organization, these are some of the things that you need to do, especially emotional intelligence. I mean, in the organization, we are diverse people. We are all different. There are some things that I would say to Lydia that, for me, maybe where I come from, it's something normal, right? But when you come to the organization, I may say that to Lydia and she will get offended. And she has to, because you cannot think that what is done there is, what you should be done in the organization. You should be culturally fit. So what in the organization, what is the culture, right? So if you are dealing with people, you need to be sure that these things come into play. Okay, so yeah.
Lydia, you have anything to add to that, or we can move on?
From where she ended about cultural fit, when we are recruiting, we don't just look at what you have on paper. We are also looking at who fits in here. And fits in here is soft skills usually.
But how do you tell who is able to fit in?
Yes, so when you are, sometimes we are able to observe certain traits. Maybe the way you are communicating, the way your posture and all that.
All right.
So we put you, that's why we have this kind of probational duration.
To observe you.
We want to, you observe us. We are also observing. It's a dual affair.
Right.
Yeah, so we put you on a probational period. And during this, we do this analysis. But yes, cultural fit is very important, because why will Mary rise and Lydia will not be rising? Let's say we are two engineers on the field, right? We have the same, clock it. Everything is the same in terms of qualifications, certifications, exposure, and all that. But we had a system downtown, and then you are complaining. Your supervisor walks in and says, the system is, you have to, but the other candidate, the same situation, but has actually resolved it using another methodology, where the person is actually building something on Excel to ensure that the work is still ongoing whilst they resolve this situation. If you are in charge, how will you, the two candidates, you actually prefer this, you see something in this individual that, well, there are issues and things are not working. Like today you come, maybe the system, there's something not working here. But instead of complaining and saying that fix it and let me work, you diverse other means. Maybe you can use your phone, still do the interview, and the work is still going on. that is impressive. And these are the traits that actually push individuals ahead of others.
Wow.
So let's say someone who doesn't respond to feedback. So we are two in the organization. If we employed Mary, Lydia, we are working. Anytime you have to give feedback, Mary is receptive. Lydia is always seeing it as an attack.
Okay.
On why will you attack me, but not the import of what you are saying. At the end of the day, she picks it, she improves upon it, she's going faster. You are there thinking that somebody don't like you when you are not reasoning through the usual situation. When you are like that, how then do you lead people? How then do you carry the message forward? How do we entrust you with certain things? So these are some of the conditions, and these are inhibits in your interpersonal skills and your behavioral competences, which we are discussing as soft skills. So these are some of the things that actually push others ahead of. For me, I am an example. In my career, in a year I can get 2 promotions.
Wow.
Not because of anything, because I feel like we are here to work and not to complain. You are here to be a solution and not to complain. Yes, today I may go to the office and the network is not working, but there are people queuing and waiting for me. Clients are waiting. Do I tell them that I cannot help you because our network is not working? Can you say no? So mostly I will actually use my data, go online, try and log in the company system and be attending to clients. Whilst other people, they are waiting for the. So I mean, when they need someone they can rely on, they can trust, they can entrust certain things to, won't they call?
Come to you.
Any reasonable, leader or CEO will actually prefer A over the B.
Right.
Yes, and we are not hiring you and paying you to come and be complaining and always complaining. Fix the situation.
Fix the country.
Oh my God.
Anyway. Okay, what?
We also have to look beyond the organization or the workplace, right? Because some of these things, like she was explaining, if you're a manager or a leader and an employee like that, he's always complaining, who doesn't try to find other solutions to solve a particular problem. Assuming you leave the organization, tomorrow you may need a recommendation. And I don't think a leader would be willing to put the head on the line for you.
Right.
So some of these things, we have to look beyond the organization, because at the end of the day, it's you cannot be at one place for a very long time, right? We are humans. We want change. We want to grow and all of that.
Okay.
If you are moving out of your organization, can you really come back? Can you call on your manager, your colleagues, and all of that? So let's also look at it, beyond the workplace.
All right. Leah, you want to say something? Okay.
Let me just add something. If you have observed critically, you realize that some people are very good, like technically, very good, very, very good, but they don't get leadership position and all that.
That's
why?
true.
The question is why? The reason is that those who are really technical good, they are not open to, let's say, other things. Let's say everything is about, this is me, this is what we have on paper, let's go by it. They say, but they don't want to do anything extra, like let's change the narrative and see how it will go. They are not responsive, they are not receptive.
Right.
And these people, they can be good when it comes to technical skills, but
right.
when it comes to the soft skills like communication, leadership, receptive, openness and all that, they are not. So you see them already there, but other people are promoted and they are leading over these people.
And they now begin to hate on the people.
So they'll be like, I was here before you. What do you know? Do you know the skills? Do you know the certificates I have acquired? And where have you been? But we will give you the same people to manage. And you can't manage them because they are not robots. They are individuals. They have emotions. They have emotions,
right.
And you must be able to do that. So yes, be technically good, but make sure you work on your soft skills.
Okay.
Important.
Be technically good, but make sure you work on your soft skills. All right, let me announce the phone lines in case anybody is listening to us and they want to join the conversation. It was exactly 29 minutes after 9, and this is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nee Trebi Hammond. And this morning we're talking about how soft skills makes employees indispensable. So if you're an employee and you're listening to us this morning, we're sharing some nuggets on how you can be able to climb the ladder in your corporate space by using or leveraging your soft skills. You're free to join the conversation. Send me a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, and then I'll read your messages for you. Also, you can call me on 03039566641, 03039566641, and then I give you the opportunity to ask your questions or make your comments this morning. We're streaming live also on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment and I'll read them for you as well. My guest this morning, Lydia Kwesing, is a career coach, and Mary Dazi is an HR professional, and these are the two individuals helping us make sense of this particular conversation this morning. All right, let me come back to you. I'm going to come one after the other so that you share. So what are the top 3 skills every employee must, soft skills specifically, every employee must have in today's workspace? Let me start with you, Mary.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ni. For me, the top 3 are communication, because yes, like I was saying, you are going to work with people. You need to learn how to communicate with them, and even listening. You need to be able to listen well. There's a difference between hearing and listening. And in the organization, you need that. The second one for me is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
You need to be, so emotional intelligence, we have 5 different things that you need to have.
Right.
You need to be self-aware.
Okay.
Do you know your strengths? Do you know your weakness? Some people don't even know, they don't understand their emotions, right? Without even understanding your own emotions, how can you manage it, and how can you understand the other party's emotion, right? You need to self-regulate yours as well, okay? And we have motivation, we have social skills. All of these things come together to be emotional intelligence as a skill.
Right.
So the second one is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Now the third one is teamwork.
Okay.
So in the organization, you can't work alone. So we have something that we call team building, So you need to be able to work with people as a team. When we walked into the studio this morning, we met somebody down there at the reception. She welcomed us, gave us a seat.
Right.
I don't think Ni can do that alone, right? Ni can't do that alone. So Ni will be working with people. Solomon is here. There are a whole lot of people, even behind the scene. So you are going to work with people. So in the organization, for me, these 3 things are very important.
So communication.
Communication, emotional intelligence, and
teamwork. All right. Okay. Let me hear your 3 to Lydia. We'll try to break some of these things down. I'll ask further questions so that we can. Yeah, okay. But Lydia, let me hear your thought.
Let me just start with problem solving. Okay. Yes, so problem solving is broad, but it actually tells how you are a critical individual and how you can actually think on your feet.
Okay.
So one thing that I want to hammer on is how you are able to provide solution without not being asked. So go beyond this is my work. Than what I can do beyond this is my work.
Okay.
As if you want to be seen, if you want to be entrusted with certain leadership roles, and if you want to thrive, go beyond this is my job description to what you can do aside the job description.
Right.
So be a problem solver, because most recruiters, most managers, and most people who have thrived are people who are able to identify certain problems when the CEO didn't even know and actually solve it. So problem solving is something that every individual must try and build upon in your work. When there are issues, you are not supposed to be complaining all the time. You should fix it. You should be a problem solver. And then later you figure certain things out. Okay. These are some of the things that we need to look at. Then I'll talk about initiative, taking initiative. Okay. And taking initiative is very important because it actually pushes you to leadership. So be creative. take initiative. When we are having the meeting, don't be sitting down, even if you don't have anything to say, just re-echo somebody's point and say, as Mary was saying, I think I agree, ABC, you know. And then, I mean, when you have an idea, share. Oh, you can put it in down, like you can write it in a proposal form.
Right.
Because people say that I share my ideas and somebody takes it under. You can draft, for me, in a week, I can draft like 5 proposals. When it comes, I just draft it and then I push it. By the time I realize 2 or 3 in a year has been implemented.
Wow.
So when you have the idea, this is your work. You have seen other people's work. We are in a competitive industry. And you know that this is what I can do to better, yes, put it into proposal, justify this proposal and push it. Let's start from somewhere. So take that initiative. And then for me, let me also add the communication as an amateur.
Okay.
I am somebody that's always hammer on communication. Okay? Because, if you don't say what you are thinking, how will people know what is in you? So it is not just about communication, because people are tired of even hearing the word communication. It's about how clearly you communicate and how you mean.
Right.
Let me just give you a scenario. We are in a remote environment, right? I don't see you. It's not like an office you have to send a mail and walk in and come and sit by your friend and say, oh, this is what the message I sent. No. So every message, every instruction you give in a diverse global environment must mean what it's supposed to mean for people to take that message and execute what you want to. So if you are not able to clearly communicate, at the end of the day, resources are wasted, people's time are wasted, and the main reason why you are supposed to do this will not be achieved. Last week, I was consulting for a business, and there was a clear instruction. There's a client coming at this time, do this. Now, the project manager who was supposed to facilitate that kind of business was not able to effectively communicate. These clients have paid, taking the product and going outside the country. But the client got there and they are not done, even the way they did they rendered the services was not how the instruction was given. She took her money, left, damaged reputation.
Wow.
I have to come in and sack some people as a consultant, and analyze the situation, and then know who didn't do well, what is it, and it all boils down to what? Communication. Reputation damaged. Resources, money, the person paid, we have to refund with an apology. At the end of the day, you treat a single person bad, and it's over 1,000 gone. It's over 1,000 gone. So communication is okay, but clarity in communication is very important. So not just communication, because everybody can talk, but be clear with what you are saying, and let the recipient know clearly what you are saying, and let what you are saying actually be done as we want to see it. Okay. So because of this gap of virtual realities, people must actually build on their clarity in communication, because you will not see the person to now come and say, this is what I meant. So we need that. So problem solving initiative and a clarity in communication.
So even written, in breaking down communication, we're talking about written communication, your verbal communication.
And your non-verbal cues. Yes, all these things. Wow. Because you say, I'm fine, as I always say, I'm fine, and then your facial expression is not fine. You think that you are talking to someone, you are shouting. And you feel it's normal, or you use non-verbal, like written. You are writing and you are using exclamation mark and in bold, or like it communicates insult. It communicates shouting loud, but people don't know this. You write an email and I see your email. You've all in bold, capitalized. What do you mean?
You're shouting.
I'll not even read it.
Forgive me, but all right, that's right. That's right. Very interesting things. I have some messages here. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence a bit, and also teamwork. I think I'll also pick your thoughts on teamwork, and then we'll touch on some of the things that you've mentioned. But a few messages here. This one is from Nash from Minotti. I'm sure She knows the two of you. She says that my two favorite people. Yes, Nashomi says that. Also, Agnes C says that I'm waiting for you, Mrs. Lydia Kwesi. Yes, Agnes C says that.
I see you.
She also says that my soft skills shows how I do my work. Wow. Perfect. I think one of the points we made here earlier. Now, Nashomi sends another message. Wow, they are really engaging the comment section. I like that. Says that, wow, first time hearing Mary's voice. Nice. Interesting conversation.
Chop, chop.
And this one is from Agnes also says, I see you, Mary. Now, Abla Mawina Blessing says that personality traits and soft skills, how does that help you thrive in your job and career? Personality traits and soft skills, how does that help you thrive in your career? I think we'll take note of that and then we'll speak to that shortly. Now, also Theophilus King says very educative, and Agnes C comes again and says, speaking of emotional intelligence being a soft skill, how do recruiters or organizations during interview phase assess the level of emotional intelligence a candidate actually has? Wow. I think that's a very good question. Very, very good. Like I said, we're coming to emotional intelligence, so we'll touch on that. And then Nashomi comes in again to say, learning a lot on soft skills will improve it. Will improve on it more. Thank you very much. Please keep your messages coming. You can also drop a comment under our live stream. We're on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment there. We'll read them for you. You can also call me or text me on 0544 32 1019 0544 32 1019. All right, so let's move to emotional intelligence, and we'll start by responding to the question from Agnes. Yes, she's asking. She says that speaking of emotional intelligence as a soft skill, how do recruiters or organizations during interview phase assess the level of how emotionally intelligent a candidate is? Yes, so HR. Very.
Okay, so with a question, during the recruitment and selection phase, what we do is that we as recruiters or hiring managers, what we can do is to pick a candidate that we think, and once again, I'm going to use the cultural fit, right? So with the line of questions, with our observations and everything, how you are going about answering the questions, that is what will tell a recruiter or a hiring manager that this particular candidate is the best fit. Now, how do that recruiter, observe that? For example, there was a time that we were organizing interviews, and then so it was just one role, but we had a number of people that were good, good. Now it was left for the panel members to choose one person for that role. What they did was just a simple question. So they asked them, of course, individually, they asked them, if assuming you are not chosen for this particular role and is given to, so I'm going to use myself and Lydia as an example. So Mary, assuming you don't get this particular role and is given to Lydia, what will be your reaction? And Mary goes like, I'll be very disappointed because I know I'm capable of doing it, So it took the panel members back, and how she went about it, I mean, it's like, I need to get it, But Lydia comes in and Lydia goes like, yes, I'll be disappointed, but I'm going to support Mary to execute all that she has to do. Right. And of course, it was given to Lydia, because why shouldn't we give it to Lydia? At that point in time, the hiring manager or the recruiter has been able to see or, to perceive that Lydia would be able to do it better than giving it to Mary just by the response, right? So at the recruitment and selection phase, the recruiters and the hiring managers will be able to tell who is emotionally intelligent by your response, by how you go about things. Like I was saying, emotional intelligence is about you self-awareness? Do you even know your strength? Do you know your weaknesses?
Okay.
Are you able to self-regulate? In this instance, the candidates can't even regulate their emotions. At that point, you are disappointed,
And
so you are just saying things,
the
right?
thing hasn't happened, but even
know,
your answer shows
and the
that you're
emotions.
yeah.
So these are some of the things
But
that you need to.
One thing I see is that sometimes the recruiters actually push you to the wall. They try
Yes,
to. Is that
it's
one
all
way?
parts. Like I won't say it's a strategy, but for lack of better words, let me say it's a strategy, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to provide the best fit, and the people are a lot, so we need to choose. So we need to push you to be able to know that, because I always say that if we are recruiting people or during recruitment and selection, the panel members or the hiring managers may, all they are doing is to, observe and choose one person. Now, there can also be a case where you bring somebody in the organization, you select this person, that this particular candidate A is the right person, but the person comes into the organization and you feel like, did you even make the right decision, right?
Yeah.
So as a recruiter, you can't always be right.
Okay.
So we are just the results and everything, our observations and all of that. So we are perceiving that this person is the right candidate. However, the candidate may come in and you're even questioning your decisions, right? So, I mean, these are some of the things that we do to be able to tell during the recruitment and, selection phase.
I see. All right. Yeah. Okay. Lydia, do you want to say anything? Because of our time. Okay, you want to add something? Right.
I just want to say that, yes, our judgments are not always right. And secondly, it is done through demonstration. For us to judge emotional intelligence, we do it through demonstration during the interview. And demonstration means that we can actually have 3 people asking you the same question, and we want to know how you react. There was a scenario where a gentleman was asked the question, and she was like, wait, but I'm not done with the first one. And it was a leadership position, because it was like, why are you, it's like you're attacking me. So everything flared up. Indirectly, he wasn't happy with the fact that this person is coming.
He's not done, and another person is asking another question.
Yes. But we just want to see how, one, you manage pressure, 2, how you are able to manage your emotions at that point. And he was technically 100%. He was good. But because of some of the demonstration and his responses, we didn't actually employ him.
I see. Our time is almost up, but emotional intelligence is very important. And in today's world, it's something that a lot of people, need to pay attention to. Let's look at how does it play out. Now what we spoke about is more of the recruitment level. And I hope that Abna or Na has gotten an answer. But let's talk about when you are in the office. Now you are in the workspace. You want to be promoted. How does emotional intelligence show up in how you relate with people in the organization?
Right.
Okay.
Lydia.
Yeah. So, in an office environment or in a workplace environment, a lot of people come to you, right? People interact with you. One thing is that when you are not able to tell your emotions, for me, I know if I'm not okay, I know what to do to be okay before I open my door to start receiving clients. And if you are a leader, you should know when you are not in your right emotions, so that you don't shout and scream on people when you are not supposed to do. See, it is not just about giving people the position. It is about leaders who are emotionally intelligent. Very important. I have seen a lot of leaders. I believe that they have to go back and learn about emotional intelligence. Because if you know that I'm not in my right frame of mind, the pressure is too much, you just have to just say a word. Can we talk about this later?
Right.
Calm down, and then you can. You don't come in, you shout on people, scream on people, and you think it's normal. It is not normal. And the same with the employee. You have to be able to manage your emotions and also manage the emotions of others. So someone may come to you and say, A, B, C, D, E, F, give you an information, but the way you respond, the way you accept the information, in terms of feedback, in terms of giving you some details, these are all parts of how you are emotionally intelligent. So don't transfer your anger on people. Know how you can manage your own anger, your own stress, your own emotions, your own triggers before you actually push it on. And even if the person is the one who have caused that, you should find a way, maybe manage it so that when you are about to speak, it doesn't, looks like an attack, or it's like you are still not in your right mind. People say a lot, and when everything is calm, they don't even remember
the things that
what they said. But words are powerful. Words are life. The way you treat people, will never be forgotten.
Okay.
The people, they may stay with you, but they will never forget it. So emotional is a core. It's really important.
Right.
It's really important.
Very important. I like the example that you gave. I don't want us to spend too much time on emotion because there are other things that you spoke about. And so, but I like how you explain the emotional intelligence, because sometimes, in an typical office space, you see somebody walking, they frown their face from the house, maybe somebody or some mate or somebody, and then you just come and sit down. You can't ask them any question. Nobody is able to approach them. No greeting, and sometimes even greet, nobody responds and all of that. But I think these are things that we have to learn. Now, a big question on my mind is how people can develop these things. But before we come to that, you spoke about taking initiative. How can somebody take initiative without breaking organizational rules or structures and all of that? And because I know it's one of the important things. People say take initiative. It's very important. But there are organizations that they say don't do anything. Do exactly what you've been asked to. How do you navigate that? Let me come to Mary. Okay, yes, she's been quiet for a long time.
So if you're in an organization and you need to, it's like a need. You really need to take an initiative. Now, how do you go about it? Like Lydia was saying, so yes, there are some tasks that you need to do, right? But if you are in a place where they are telling you to do A, B, C, D, and after that, do not do E and F. What you can do is to look for a particular problem in the organization to solve it. Okay. If you are able to find a challenge or a problem in the organization, you can put it on paper. Right. Sometimes you can find a problem you discuss with your boss and it ends there, right? It will not even escalate anywhere. It would end there. But you need to put it on paper and get management buy-in to execute it. That is the way that we will say you are taking an initiative. And it is not just about that. It can even be with your colleagues and all of that. There's something, and in fact, taking an initiative would always put you on a particular level because as managers, as leaders and all of that, you would stand out. Like they would be able to know that this particular person, just give her the work. I know she'll deliver, right? Because of other things that you've been able to do. So those are some of the things that you can take it or handle it from that side.
Right. Leah, you want to add something to that? Maybe yes. Then we can wrap up.
Buy-in is very important in a organization that is rigid. When I talk about buy-in, management buy-in, colleagues buy-in, and all that. For me, if I am in a rigid organization, this is how I do my thing. I run it first with the people around me. I run the idea with the people around me. If I see that then I run it with maybe 4 or 5 people. I want everybody to see what I'm seeing. And then I'll raise either a presentation or a book a meeting. Okay. So you don't just go, I have an idea, I feel this is how you should do it. No, please. It is not your organization.
Right.
Okay. Yes, we have a way. That's why we have hierarchical order. We have systems. So if you see this, what you have to do is that after you buy in from your colleagues and other people, you just book a meeting with your supervisor. You say, this is what, or you can even put it into writing and say, I know you are busy, but can you take a look at this? I've also shared it to you via mail.
Right.
Where you relax. After a week or two, you follow up and discuss the import of what you are saying.
Yeah.
See, sometimes it takes time, but as you do it, because it becomes evident, you've already run it with people, so everybody is seeing what you are saying. So it makes it easier.
Okay.
It makes it easier, and you should know that you are not an island.
Right.
So don't ever think that I'm the one who has all the ideas. If you do that, you are with people. They will sideline you, or you will not get to where you want to get to. But if you actually understand that, let me run with people. That is how I work, and it works perfectly for me. Before I realize I've mounted 10 people to the office to have a discussion with you, and everybody is saying yes, and you have no excuse than to say what? Yes. So it's a strategy, and it must be learned, especially with individuals who feel they are in organizations that are rigid, that people don't. It is not so. It is about the approach and how you do it. Yeah.
Okay, so our time is up and we have to go. But in, say, 1 or 2 minutes, yes, let me look at the time. Yes, so in 30 seconds each or 1 minute each, Lydia, I want you to speak to leaders, in organizations. I know that HR, when it comes to learning soft skills, HRs sometimes can organize some trainings and all of that. Yes. So I want you to speak to them. And then as an employee, if you are advising an employee, Mary, what would you say in how they can be able to learn these skills? Yes. So let's do Mary, and then we wrap up with Lydia.
Okay, so 30 seconds, right? So
don't worry, flow. Yes, flow. In 1 minute, feel free.
Okay. So as an employee, or to anybody that is listening to us this morning, what I believe in is everything can be learned, but it is dependent on you and the individual.
Right.
If you are willing to learn. So this morning, what we are telling our listeners today is these skills can be learned, but make yourself available. Make yourself willing to learn.
Right.
And there are so many ways in which you can learn it. Aside you going, having some online courses and all of that, even that, you can learn it, but if you don't put it into practice, it will end there.
Right.
You have the knowledge, but have you been able to implement it? Because implementation is where the learning actually occurs. And as, grown-ups and adult learning is not like, kids and all of that. We learn very differently, and we learn when we are able to do it with our colleagues and all of that. Yeah, so that's what we call observational learning. I don't want to go much into those. But like I was saying, exactly. And then after you have even learned it through the courses and all of that, make sure you are implementing it. And if, like Lydia was saying, if you know your triggers, it will really help you to manage your emotions and manage that of others. Because without it, well, we are failing.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mary. Lydia, let me hear from you finally.
All right. So CEOs, leaders, employers,
HR.
And HRs. I'm also an HR, so HRs. HRs. One thing we all have to know is that when employees come in, they come in with their technical skills. Yeah. They come in with their certificates. But you are responsible for how they go out with a soft skill. That is why we say we hire talent, but we train for attitude. So if somebody is technically good, we have to make sure that we put that person on this kind of soft skill training, and this can be learned. So maybe Ni is very good, but Ni has a challenge with communication. Put the Ni on a communication course, this course. Let Ni study from others. I have someone who is linked with another leader or another colleague. The colleague is good with communication, so this individual is observing this colleague on how he's able to solve certain situations, so that it helps that individual because he's technically good. So we should all know that we come in with our technical competences, but you not get all individuals with soft skills that you want. But we should be willing to support them.
Right.
We should be willing to give them time to improve upon themselves, so that the workplace become a better place for you and for them. Yes, my message.
All right, thank you very much, Lydia, and thanks so much, Mary, for your insights, and thanks so much for coming. Really grateful. I think we've learned a lot. It's been a very good conversation.
Thank you.
Yes, and I wish you the best. All right, so that's how we wrap up today on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nee Trebi Hammond. This morning, my guests were Lydia Kwesing. Lydia is a career coach, and Mary Dati. Mary is an HR professional. And these are the two individuals who joined me this morning. We've been talking about soft skills. And we've said a lot of things. I don't even know how to summarize it, but these are things that are very important, and we must be able to get them. And so if you're listening to us, you can visit our social media platform. The video is going to be there. Facebook, we're at ZFMGH, and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You can visit those platforms and get to play back this particular video because it's very, very important. All right. So, yes, like I said, that's how we wrap up. We're back again tomorrow for some more interesting conversations. Until then, please keep listening to Z 101.9 FM. And this has been Business Breakfast on Zed with myself, Nee Trebi Hammond. I'll see you tomorrow. When you think Ghana, please think Zed. And up next is The Brighter Side.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And also do follow us on all our socials. On TikTok at Z Multimedia, LinkedIn at Z Multimedia, YouTube at Z TV, IDX, and Facebook at ZFMGH.